hot off the presses is that Triple H and WWE have officially met with the mayor of London. There's a lot of heavy speculation attached to it that this could possibly mean something for WrestleMania. As you know, AEW has All in London scheduled for August 25th. John Cena, when he was in London, made a call for WrestleMania to be in London. We all know that the UK crowd is a crazy crowd, passionate bunch of fans. And there was a little video with Triple H in it. Short, I believe it was about 12 seconds. He said, we've been listening to you guys. I only have one question, and that is, are you ready? So a lot of speculation regarding a potential WrestleMania in London, but I got to check in with you, Banks. Do you feel like it is inevitable that we are getting WrestleMania London?
I think so. I think they're gonna go from London to Saudi, all
Mm.
over the world, Puerto Rico, all these places that they've been going. I think it's just to see if they can draw people. They definitely need to go to
Mm.
France, just because that's the best crowd
Absolutely.
I've seen in a long time. Especially when they was going up to Jay Uso and the phones was up. I was like, yeah, bro, that's all I need to see. I think the London show definitely needs to happen. AEW, Wembley isn't selling out, but they'll make a pretty good gate, which is fine. So I think they need to do it just because they've been all over their country. I mean,
Yeah.
Vegas is next year, and that stadium, the Oakland Raiders stadium, that's the only time they're gonna get a win. That stadium is in. If anybody hasn't been to that stadium yet, I mean, see your team that you like play against them. Otherwise, not don't see the trash Raiders. But that stadium is great. And then they owe Minnesota a pay per view or a WrestleMania, I should say. So that'll happen in 2026. After that, they might as well try to run it and go 2027 to London.
Mm. To kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, I think this is the next big step for WWE. They've kind of been positioning themselves for a potential WrestleMania on a global stage, right? With the past 2 to 3 years, with these PLEs being in the likes of France, in the likes of Puerto Rico, even having some pretty high stakes house shows in these other countries. And I think something that we had kind of talked about was, I mean, when it comes to the United States and WrestleMania, where else does WWE have to go? They've done pretty much everything twice at this point. I mean, with Allegiant Stadium and then Minnesota on the rise, that pretty much completes. They've done pretty much every big important stadium and every major media market in this country. So it's like, where else do you have left to go when it comes to the US? And I feel like London is just the next big stop. I think it's the next big thing. We've seen kind of how WWE has been positioning themselves for a big international show by doing other big international shows. Like we're talking about SummerSlam, but remember they still have Bash at Berlin, which is happening later in August. And
True.
then we also have Clash at the Castle that just happened. So this is something that WWE has been moving towards for years, really since Nick Khan took over the company as the president. I feel like there was always this idea that they have to expand, that they have to go beyond what they've been doing because they've been doing it long enough. And, it kind of almost feels like the international crowds have been competing for WrestleMania because it seems like one crowd is just topping the next, right? Like we talked about France, which was Backlash. Like when they popped for AJ Styles and they gave him that chant, I know he was trying to keep it together because them chants were crazy. So I feel like this is kind of the next big step. Now I think I'm gonna ask you, do you believe that obviously the UK is a big place. London itself is a big place. Not every stadium is Wembley Stadium. Do you think that WWE is going to make the choice to pick Wembley Stadium of all stadiums, or do you think that they're going to go with an alternate venue?
I'm unfamiliar with
Mm.
the stadiums, I should say, in London. I mean, I was about to say Madrid. I don't think. Well, I don't know. I don't know too much about soccer like that. So whatever the biggest team is, as far as soccer in London, wherever
Mm.
David Beckham used to play at, which I think is Madrid. I don't know. But yeah, if it's Wembley, book that. If it's not Wembley, you got something that's could hold more capacity, go for that because they're gonna get the numbers. They are at their highest ever
Yeah.
far as the money situation goes. And people over there in London got more money than us because they don't live in this crap hole country of America. So they can actually
Yeah.
live pretty it's expensive, but it ain't America expensive.
Yeah. That's a fact. I mean, I think I had to look up stadiums in London or in the London area. I mean, obviously you have London Stadium, you have Emirates Stadium, which is Arsenal's stadium. They seat about 60,000 people, but it looks like Wembley is the largest stadium in London, right? And so I think beyond the fact that AEW has done All In London, when you're going for a spectacle, you go for the biggest venue, right? So I think that WWE, if they were to decide to do WrestleMania in London, they are probably going to do Wembley Stadium, and I think that that's going to create a very, very interesting dynamic as far as, who's going to have the bigger gate there. I don't want to give my predictions right now because we're too far out from that, but I think it should be a very, very interesting sight to behold. But I think that London, England is a city that deserves a WrestleMania, but easily the international city that deserves it more than anyone else. And I'm looking forward to see kind of how they move forward with it. But I want to know how everybody else is feeling as it pertains to London potentially getting a WrestleMania. Let us know in the comments below if you feel like that's on the rise, but we're going to be moving on. Thank you guys so much for watching the Culture 316 podcast. If you liked what you saw, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you guys can stay up to date with all upcoming videos and events pertaining to Culture 316.